Hey y'all, what's up? Super excited to have you tuned in to the Truth Carpet podcast with LoveLoudd. I am Simone, and as always, I am with my best friend,
Yanique Love.
and this is episode 2 of our Truth Carpet podcast. Yaya, how are you feeling today, girl?
Well, these milk chocolate pretzels are making me feel better. I woke up feeling down, but shout out to my legs for getting me through 8 miles of walking today. Shout out to my friend for FaceTiming me, letting me get all of my stress off my chest this morning. So
Wait. Run that back. Did you say you walked 8 miles?
yes, I think it was like 7.49 or something like that today.
Girl, close enough. Round it up. Proud of you, girl. 8 miles. 8 miles, girl.
Thank
Girl.
you.
Walk it out. Yes. Breathe in that good, healthy oxygen. Oh my goodness. I'm so proud of you. Come through 8 miles.
You. But I feel good right now, though.
Well, I'm glad you feel good. Sometimes you got to take a walk around the park in the daytime. I wouldn't say after dark because it can be dangerous. I feel good. Shoot, I got my coffee. You feel me? You know, I gotta have my coffee to make sure I'm up. Yes, this is this was my Nana's coffee cup. So I have coffee with her every morning in my Betty coffee cup. So yes,
when you have
we have coffee every morning.
When you have a baby, I'm gonna name your baby Betty Boop. It's gonna be after your grandma, but Betty Boop.
Baby Betty Boop. Are you ready for this episode, girl?
Let's do it. We love, y'all. We love.
All right. So let me go ahead and give y'all today's rundown. So we're going to have our dorm stories. We're going to be talking about college food struggles. We're talking about calf swipes. We're going to be talking about our favorite meals. And we're going to have some special stories in regards to cooking in the dorm rooms. We have a story from every single year, from freshman year to senior year, where Yaya has done something. Something in regards to cooking. So y'all have to stay tuned in to find out what these funny stories are. All right. And then we're going to roll right on into the Poetic Suite, where I'll be performing Liberation from the second poetry book of LoveLoudd. We're going to go into our hot topics. So we're going to be talking about body shaming. Does body size matter? Have you ever been body shamed? Do you know someone that has been body shamed? How do you feel about your shape? How can we love ourselves? What is it about body image that we need to be talking about? Then after that, we have a couple of scenarios in regards to loving our bodies and body shaming situations. And then at the end, as always, make sure you are tuned in for special announcements in regards to LoveLoudd so you do not miss out on what we have for y'all. All right, girl, you ready to get into these dorm stories?
Let's do it. All right, girl. So up first is calf swipe. I remember when we came into college, we had the unlimited calf swipes. You can go to the calf as many times as you wanted to throughout the day. Then there was always a senior or junior that wanted to be your friend because they wanted to get on your calf swipes as well. But then we had the swindle happen, where I believe it was like the second semester of our sophomore year. They changed everything, and you can no longer swipe unlimitedly. And I was so heated, bro, because I was like, okay, it's my turn to only get, the limited meal plan because, I'm an upperclassman. I got a kitchen in my room or whatever. So now I could cook, and I'll just go to the swipe whenever I really needed to go to the swipe.
Right, whatever you want.
When I go to the swipe, I meant, y'all know what I meant. I meant to the calf whenever I needed to go to the calf. But then they swindled us and took all the swipes away.
The thing about freshman year that I remember as far as like swipes, it's just being able to go whenever like I wanted. I was always hungry. Freshman 15 was real. Like being able to have unlimited swipes and I can eat whenever I want to and I have to worry about buying no groceries. Breakfast, swiping. Lunch, swiping. Oh, you need lunch too? I got you. Come in right behind me.
Swipe. For real. I lost my card. I left it in the room. I got you. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Remember that time we all sat in the calf the whole step team, and then plus other people. We were sitting in the caf with our laptops, just watching videos, just hanging out in the caf, literally just hanging out in the caf.
Right. Because that
So
was the spot to
that was a
be.
swipe. Like just to get into the caf, you had to swipe.
Right. Ooh, I loved late night. I think out of all the meals of the day, I think being able to go to late night, which is basically your meal after dinner. So I think it was open for maybe about a few hours. You had like chicken strips or some wings, some burgers, like just simple, like small meals that you can grab real quick. 8 to 11 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But freshman year, I know I was always at late night, going to late night, doing some homework, going to late night, and taking something back to the room. I used to love going to late night, and I definitely gained the infamous freshman 15.
15.
Okay. Having
No,
all that extra food.
Yeah, I remember late night too. The highlight for late night I remember is going to late night and grabbing mad chips and everything that we could grab before Phineas and Ferb came on. But now that you saying, I'm like, freshman year we did, because we used to get mad juice, because when we used to make our liquor, we need something to mix with our liquor. We used to get mad juice from the cat from late night.
Filling up the cups. Oh
Because
my
only late
gosh.
night you could leave out the calf with food. They gave you like
Yep.
the buckets and the place that you could leave out. But regular calf hours, it was just a swipe. You eat in there and then you could come out. Can't leave with those cups.
The best things about the swipes for me, aside from the unlimited ones when we had them, was being able to use it on places that were off campus.
Okay.
So
what were your places that you used it for?
Papa John's, honey. Every time there was like some type of group gathering that we didn't feel like cooking, swiping for the Papa John's pizza, having that podcast on the card.
Yes.
Papa John's pizza and wings could never go wrong. It was so
Nothing
good.
would beat the wings. Nothing would beat the wings. I used to faithfully, at least twice a week, get the wings, especially when we used to come from step practice. And then the calf was not open, and it was like, let's stop at Papa John's, y'all, get some wings.
Right. Stay ordering pizza.
I used to love going to Busy Bee. Busy Bee is like a southern thing, y'all. So that was like one of the spots that was near campus for us, like that good, like that. It was like your grandmother was in the kitchen making the best macaroni and cheese, collard greens, turkey wings, and peach cobbler, bro. I used to go in there just to get the peach cobbler and walk back to the dorm. That junk was so good. But just to be able to use your swipe to get that was so good, yeah.
Like, shoot, the best part is that it wasn't so far. It wasn't so far from campus. It was right there.
Right there.
Oh my gosh, I remember the smothered chicken. Ooh, you could.
You see that?
Tell me nothing about that smothered chicken. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I think I'm salivating right now. Hold on.
You are.
It was so good. Just thinking about it right now. Dang, I can't wait to get back to Atlanta so I can have some.
Yeah.
Oh man, memories. Man, moment of silence for this.
Yes.
All right. Oh, another place too. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we used to be able to swipe at Mr. Everything, and Mr. Everything was everything with the rice and the steak and the shrimp and the drizzled like the barbecue sauce toppings
and the peppers. Ooh,
oh my gosh,
and that sauce, bro. I don't remember if they had swipes. But I do remember going in there. That was that thing, bro. That was that
was the
thing.
spot. Oh my gosh. And it was close to campus too. It's like you left off campus, you had Busy Bees, walk a few more feet, and there was everything. Yeah. Like
not even a hop skip away. It was just a little big SpongeBob toe away.
Oh my goodness. God. As soon as I get back to Atlanta.
So freaking good. Ugh. Man, I wanted Busy Bee. I went to homecoming in October and I had Mr. Everything. That joint was banging, bro. Oh my God, it was so good. My friend came with us and she was like, "Ooh, that's so good, man." I was like, yeah. But Busy Bee, of course, it was busy. It's always busy. You gotta get in there when you could get in there. But
hence
shoot, when
Busy
we go back, for real, it's banging, bro. That food. Ooh.
Can't wait.
Oh, girl.
Okay.
Oh my
I
gosh.
have a funny story about freshman year with Yaya thinking that she can bake a cookie in the microwave.
It's not my fault.
Yes. That's right. Yaya thought that she could bake a cookie in the microwave like our microwave was an easy bake oven. Like how? How, Sway? Had
It's
our
not my
whole
fault.
floor, had our whole floor smell like funk. Oh my gosh. For like a week, it just stank. It smelled like, it didn't even smell like a burnt cookie. It just smelled like burnt. The whole floor smelled burnt.
It wasn't a whole week. It probably was like 2 days.
Well, it was in our room for a week, but the floor stank for 2 days because that was funky. Like, how did you get the idea to put a cookie in the microwave? Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't an idea. It was somebody told me, this person, Elena, told me, oh, that they got the cookies at Publix that you could put in the microwave. And I was like, oh, what kind of cookies? Like, does it have to say microwave? She's like, no, you could just put the regular Pillsbury Doughboy cookies in a microwave. Mind you, if they do have them now, this was back in 2008. So I took my little butt merrily to Publix, bought a pack of probably chocolate chip cookies or sugar cookies, and put them in the microwave, and it burned, and it smelled, the whole floor stank. Like people were coming in the hallway. People were coming in the hallway like, oh my God, what is that smell? It was so embarrassing. But it was Elena's fault because she told me that I could put the cookie in the microwave.
I was like, oh my God. First of all, I had never heard of anybody ever saying anything about putting a cookie in the microwave. If anything, you would only put it in there for a few seconds. Like, how long did you even put the cookie in there?
Until it burned, obviously. It wasn't that long.
I thought you were just trying to get it to be warm. Like,
no,
you
I
were
was
trying to get it
baking the
crunchy.
cookie. No, not even crunchy. I was trying to bake it. And it burnt in the microwave. That was so
It ain't,
embarrassing.
it's not even no baked cookie sitting on the microwave. Oh my gosh. Whew. That was the first mishap in the years at Clark Atlanta University with Yaya having a mishap in the kitchen. What's the
It's
second one,
always
Yaya?
something. Okay, so that summer I went home and I learned how to cook some gravy, some homemade gravy. And I did a good job with my mom, right? So I went to college. We inherited now in our apartment style dorm. And I guess I cooked the chicken. I'm trying to do it exactly how my mom showed me. I cooked the chicken first. You got the little oil left, the onions left, or whatever. And now you got to add the water and the flour simultaneously and mix real fast. Girl, it burnt too quick. All I remember is smoke like staring up in the kitchen. Then I ran to the windows in the front to try to open up the windows before y'all could come out. Next thing you know, you, Ebony, Elena, all y'all in there like, what's going on? What's going on? I'm so sorry.
Burning down the kitchen.
Burning down the kitchen, bro. Trying to make some
Burning.
good gravy.
And once again, it smelled burnt.
And it was foggy too. Like I had to let all the smoke out. We had to open all the windows in there.
And the front door. Come on,
So
give it to him. Junior year, number 3.
Oh my God. Number 3. So number 3, I had a stinky attitude towards my roommates. So they were using my toaster oven, and I was like, well, they using my toaster oven. I don't want to use my toaster oven. Being bitter. So I really wanted a piece of toast. So I put the bread in the oven and let it sit there. And it wasn't, brown enough for me. So I went to my room and forgot that the bread was in there. So then I went to the bathroom and like I wasn't even using the bathroom. I used the bathroom and I'm sitting there playing video games. Next thing you know, I just started smelling bread. I started smelling bread. And the first thing that clicked to me, I was like, "Ooh, that smells good." And I was like, "Oh, my bread, my bread." So I went to the oven, and I saw my bread in the oven. But I also, with the door closed, I saw the bread and I saw a fire. But then every
Oh
time I
Lord, I
opened
didn't know it caught on fire.
every time I opened the oven door, the flame got bigger, and I was like, "Oh snap!" But when I closed it, it stopped. But then when I opened it back, it was fire. Like I was like, oh my God, how can I get it out?" So I just had to go and get the bread out and like beat the fire out. That's so embarrassing, bro. Like how you burning bread in the oven, like a piece of bread, like you know the slice that come in a loaf, a piece of bread like that. I put that in the oven because I'm being petty, not wanting to use my own toaster to toast the bread.
See
But it's
what
always
happens when you
something.
be bitter. See what happens when you bitter. When you bitter, you get burned.
For real.
All right,
And
let's give
then
them the last one.
senior year when we were living in the lofts, I was doing laundry and I bought Popeyes. So these were Popeyes, leftover Popeyes. I put my Popeyes biscuit and French fries in the box. No aluminum foil, no nothing. Inside the microwave. Just to warm it up for 30 seconds. But it didn't even get to the whole 30 seconds. It probably warmed up for like 15, 14 seconds. And then all of a sudden I heard a boom noise. And I looked and the whole microwave exploded. Like it was like an
Oh,
electrical, like
wow.
a kind of explosion. They had to send the maintenance people upstairs to come get the microwave. Then I was downstairs with the man that, the security guard standing down there, and he was making a big fuss, and he was like, "Oh, you about to get kicked out." And I'm all like naive, so I'm like, "Oh my God, like they about to kick me out for a microwave." And then another man was like, "Don't get hyped up for that. They got this cheap stuff anyway." I was like, "Yeah, they got that cheap stuff anyway." I'm like, "Bro, like how the microwave electrical like system, whatever, it just I was so frustrated, bro. It was always something every year. I could cook,
Yo,
y'all. I could cook. It just, I guess, just go through things.
I was just about to say the same thing. These crazy things happen to you, but you actually know how to cook those. That's the
Oh my
crazy part.
God.
These little minor mishaps, other than the cookie. I'll give you credit for everything else other than that cookie. Like, I've never heard of baking a cookie in the microwave.
I haven't either. That's why I was so excited about it. I was like, oh snap.
All right. So let's talk about our favorite meals, girl. What was your go-to that you had to cook while we were in school?
My go-to meal, I would say, if it wasn't like a microwavable meal, like you
Mm-hmm.
get from the freezer section, um, I was good on some hamburger helper. All you had to do is get the box and the meat and just put it all together. That was
Oh,
something
yes,
easy. That
girl.
was
Me too.
go to. And then other than that, without the gravy was chicken. And I remember I used to tell my little college boyfriend, "Oh, you want to come over? I'm making chicken." And then he'd be like, "And what you got on the side?" I'd be like, "It's chicken." And he'd be like, "You ain't got no sides?" I'd be like, "I made chicken." He'd be like, "Yeah, you have to have the starch and the vegetables." And I was like, "What? Like, it's just fried chicken." Like,
I just wanted some
so
wings.
yeah, it's just wings. Those are my two go-to: hamburger helper and chicken wings.
Definitely had to get down with some hamburger helper myself too, because that's what I knew. That was like one of the easiest things to make that I knew how to make while I was at home. Simple, easy, boom, done. Also, I would definitely have to say ramen noodles.
Oodles and
I
noodles.
can't eat it now. Oodles and noodles, honey. I can't eat it now because I got too much salt in it. Oh my goodness. But ramen noodles, quick, easy, whether it was on the stove or in the microwave, throw that seasoning in there real quick. Boom,
Mm-hmm.
easy, quick meal. And then Chef Boyardee, not the ravioli, but the beefaroni. Now I don't know how I ate it then because I definitely
You
can't eat it
know,
now. But my body could take it then. You know what I'm saying? I just
mm.
warm it up, put a little cheese in it, doctor it up with some
Oh
seasoning.
my God.
Girl, yes, I didn't just warm up the can. I had to, do my thing. I put a little like
Make
some
it special.
parsley, some Italian seasoning. Yes, make it seem like it was something more than what it was. Chef
For
Boy are
real.
done. Chef Boy are done. Bon appetit, honey.
I'm
Especially like with
making
my ramen noodles. Get creative.
I'm making this face at you, but I probably used to eat that stuff too. I remember I used to stay with packs of oodles and noodles because it was the go-to thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember one time our friend Will had came over and he was hanging out. He's like, "You got some oodles and noodles?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I gave him a pack. He was like, "Y'all got some vegetables?" I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, you put the vegetables inside the noodles trying to make it special." I was like, "What? Like that's nasty. Why are you mixing stuff together?" But now they got it with people be having ramen and they be having the mushrooms and the vegetables and all that stuff inside the ramen. I'd be like, "Oh."
One time I had some leftover, like whether it was like ground beef or chicken or something, you put that
Oh,
in the noodles. It's just like you had
just
to
the
do
sound
what
of
you
it
had
sounds
to
so
do.
nasty.
But the thing is, like, it's almost like how you would use like your spaghetti noodles, except you're using the ramen noodles. So sometimes you don't even have to use the seasoning that comes with the noodles. You just using the noodles and then you doctor it up how you like it. You know what I'm saying? It was you had to do what worked for your taste buds, honey. Okay. All right, y'all. In this segment of Sweet 223, I will be reading Liberation from Love Loud, Volume 2. We both know why you're here. I told you we need to talk. And honestly, I'm really surprised you showed up. But since you have arrived, please take a seat, listen as I speak, because I will not repeat anything hereafter. This is not an intervention, so you can relax. This is merely a testament of where we're at. For years, you've been around, 4 years longer than anticipated, and I've debated many times how I would say this. So as I look you in the eye across from where you stare, I try not to compare past transgressions to my current state of mind, but it's time that I am honest and less modest than I have been in the past. I'm speaking up for myself, taking control of the mess, accepting full responsibility for how we got tangled in this unwavering, complicated, unanticipated, overrated affiliation that keeps us up all night with no rest. But I digress. Because this is more about me than it is about you. I knew from the beginning this would only last through dismay. Now the truth to you is past due. Please lower your hand. I don't have time for Q&A. It's okay to be confused. I understand. Your thoughts are jumbled and misconstrued. But I also know you felt more than a few bumps on this ride. Now it's time to pull over before we collide. So before you exit, let me be perfectly clear. You are no longer welcome here. I don't need you to react, no apologies to adhere. I'm setting myself free. And before you close the door, please make sure you leave the key. I know I don't have to say this, but since I'm living my truth, stress, I'm breaking up with you.
Thank you, girl, for that piece.
Yes, yes,
Man,
yes, yes.
man. So I knew this was on the agenda today, but I'm gonna be quite frank and let you know I didn't know what poem this was gonna be. And when you started reciting it, I was like, oh, okay, it's this one. And I feel like I know I have questions for you, girl, but I feel like I needed this today because yesterday was a lot for me, and
Mm-hmm.
I just need to tell my stress that the door is open for you to walk out, close the door, lock it, and throw the key. Like, just be gone. So, I don't know if you saw me, but my eyes were closed because I felt like it was resonating with me. So,
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank you for reading that piece today.
You are
But
welcome.
I want to know what led you to writing this poem? What influenced you for this piece?
I actually wrote it during a stressful time, believe it or not. But I like to use writing as a coping mechanism sometimes to help me understand my emotions when I'm going through something. So with
Mm-hmm.
this piece, I wanted to understand why I was stressed and then tell it to leave. Because one thing that I've been learning over time in regards to loving myself more is understanding like what my triggers are and why things are the way that they are, allowing it in, and then understanding how to let it go. So this was a piece that I knew that I could always come back to when I found myself in a stressful space that I could read at any time to make sure that I'm remaining zen and not allowing stress to take control of my life. And then I didn't write it for anyone initially.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but after reading it and I read it to a few different people, they also let me know, like, hey, thank you for writing this. This is something that I could resonate with because I struggle with stress all the time. So it's
Mm-hmm.
something that other people can also go back to and read. Like how you said it resonated with you. So I'm pretty sure people that are listening, it resonated with them as well. So anyone dealing with stress can read this piece and definitely understand how to tell it to leave. You know,
Yeah.
whether you've been stressed for 2 days or 2 weeks or 2 months, sometimes you just have to sit with it, understand what it is, and then just let it be.
I think that's an important part, sitting with it and letting it be. Like, a lot of times we can just want it to go because it's so uncomfortable for us to sit in. But it takes a lot to be able to sit in it, recognize what it is, and then let it leave. Because if without that last part that you said, sitting in it, we can feel free to let it continue to come in. And that's why I
Mm-hmm.
said that it's important to open that door, get the out, lock the door, and get rid of that key. Don't come back here. We sat here long enough. So, yeah, girl, I resonate 100%, girl.
Yeah, because there could be a lot of different things going on that then sometimes you might not even understand like how to deal with it. It could be something very, very detrimental. Like for me, I had lost my nana, and then
Mm-hmm.
like not even a year after that, I lost my job.
Yeah, girl.
So I was under like so much pressure dealing with anxiety and depression, and then trying to figure out how to function those emotions and not understanding what to do with them. So being able to write has always been one of the best coping mechanisms for me. Like for other people, it may be other things, whether it's running, drawing, just being like in a state of peace, going on a hike. We just all have to understand what we need to do for ourselves in order to release the stress that we have.
Amen, girl. Hot topics.
Let's go ahead and go right on into it.
All right. Today's hot topic for today is, does size matter? And typically when we hear does size matter, we're talking about that hot diggity dog, y'all. But today we are not talking about that. We are putting a little spin on that and talking about body shaming, which is something that happens all the time, whether we are able to recognize if we are being the target or we're targeting other people. So let's just jump right into it. Moni, I'm going to ask you the question first.
Okay.
All right. So with this topic, does your body size or weight matter? And if so, why? If not, why?
Okay, so I'm going to say yes, because it's something that I'm doing for me, but
Okay.
no in regards to needing validation from other people. Because I used to look at myself in the mirror and be like, oh, I don't like this about myself. Or, oh my gosh, my back fat. Oh my gosh, my stomach, it jiggles too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to understand how not to talk about myself like that, because that's a way of putting myself down. So in loving myself, I was like, you know what, I can live with these things, but it's okay to wanting, to tighten up and make myself look better and be, my own body goals. So I took the steps in regards to being healthier and choosing to eat right. I eat vegan meals sometimes. I'm not fully vegan, but I choose to switch up my eating pattern sometimes. So I might eat a vegan meal 2 to 3 times a week, a vegetarian meal, and then I still eat meat sometimes. It just depends on, I just try to do it in moderation, but not as often.
Okay.
Because I think sometimes too, some people look at the scale too much. And I've started to understand also that it's not about the scale. I've been working out consistently for the past 2 months and I've been the exact same weight, but people can easily look at me and be like, oh my gosh, you look so good. You've slimmed down.
You
Not
do look
knowing,
good.
thank you, but I
Yeah.
haven't lost any weight at all. It's just that because I'm working out different parts of my body is starting to look different. And because I'm changing my eating habits, it's also a play in me being healthier. Because people can look at that mass index chart. According to it, I'm overweight. Like I'm not supposed to be 5'1", 155 pounds. I'm supposed to be like 130. But I'm healthy. And I honestly think that body mass chart is not made for my body type at all.
Yeah, and along with that, it's not made for us. Like we are Black women, women of color, women from African descent. So the way my mom put it, that's for white people. That's for the European figure. So they're the ones that's saying that you're overweight. But when I look at you, you look fine, and I'm sure if you go to your doctor, the doctor gonna say you nuts for thinking that you're overweight or obese if you got
Mm-hmm.
a doctor of color. Even if a doctor is not of color, if they know, you
Right.
girl, you
Everybody's
fine.
body type is different.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you? Does your body size or weight matter?
It's like a tug of war with this. For me, it does. So my body goal right now is to be slim thick, and when
Slim,
people
thick, we're joking. Eat.
so for me, like when people look at me, they see small. When I look at me, I see big. And it took until I think it was last month, my sister-in-law took a picture of me holding one of my nephews. And when I saw the picture, I was like, yo, I am small. But to me, like when I take pictures of myself or when I see myself in the mirror, I think I'm medium, like a medium person. I see my gut. I see my arms jiggle when they didn't used to do that in high school. Different things about myself that I don't like. So I know I have the potential to like tone those things up and lose my gut and everything. And then I think like if I do enough squats and stuff and get a little bigger, like make my butt a little plump, then I could be slim thick. So those are the things that are my body goals. And then plus along with that too, I want to be like, you know how you see Angela Bassett and different people who are older women and they look so good and you're like, yo, you 70? You 150 years old? Like you look good. So I want people
Right.
to look at me and be like, girl, nah, you gotta be 20. And like, no, I'm really 55. Like that's what my goal is for myself. So that's why I say it does matter, because I want to be healthy when I get older. And at this age right now, I don't have any children. So I want to still make sure that I'm keeping healthy so that when I do have children, I have a healthy body that my child could bake inside. And then when my child comes out and, starts running around, I want to be able to chase after and play with my child and not be like, oh, go ahead, nephews, play with your cousin, because I can't chase around them. I waited till such and such age to have a kid, so now I can't chase after them. And then too, like when I think about dating somebody, I'm not saying that I would want somebody who's like I definitely don't want bodybuilder. That's not what my eyes lust after. But I don't want bird chest either. Like I want somebody, I want like an average body type with a little bit of muscle kind of thing. So I feel like I got to come to the table with that too. Like I don't want to be sloppy and I don't want to be blah either. Like I want to quote unquote have that average kind of thing. Like it's given, I got to give what I kind of want. So I want my future husband. I want to, when we take pictures together, it look like, dang, y'all look good, opposed to, dang, he look good, why he with her kind of thing. So
Yeah,
that's
but
why it matters.
I think even in regards to that, like, I don't think he'll be thinking about that too much. Like you see what you're attracted to, but he's going to be attracted to you for, for what he likes in you, not based off the fact that, oh yeah, she work out all the time, look at that ass. Like it's not even I mean, he might like that, but it won't just solely be based upon that. That's why when people, when they get married, it's for better or for worse in regards to your life partner. So whether, I gain a couple pounds or I lose a couple pounds, we're in this together. So I think it's important to understand, like, it's important to have your goals, but don't necessarily set those goals based on how you want other people to perceive you, but how you perceive yourself.
And I 100% wholeheartedly agree. I don't want y'all to think that I am being shallow and saying I'm only looking at a guy for his body image or how good his like physical attraction. No, I'm not saying that. This is just specifically with this topic of body goals. I've dated people with bird chest. I've dated people who was a little bit more hulkier in bulk than I would like, but I'm just saying for myself, and when I think of that, like I said, with me wanting to be healthy, have a healthy body or whatever that means for my height and my stature is what I want. And I would want that same thing for my husband. I want him to be able to chase after our kid. I want him to be able to live however long he can live with good health. I want somebody who cares for their body as much as I care for my own body too. Like let's
And
be
I agree with
happy.
that.
Let's be happy and healthy together. And I think the best video that shows it is, I think it's As Long As Your Love Don't Change by Music Soul Child. Like, I'm gonna love you till your hair turn gray, whether you gain weight, lose weight, all these things, all these factors are gonna change. It's what's inside that matters. But just sticking with
Right.
the topic is what I'm saying of I want to look good for myself and my future husband.
Absolutely.
Physically.
Being healthy and happy together. I can definitely ride with that one. I agree.
Have you ever been body shamed?
I mean, possibly. I'm not even really sure if this is considered body shaming, but it did make me turn my eyebrow up like, what?
The
So,
rock eyebrow.
right. So people that know me really well know I always complain about my back fat because it's something that I've struggled with for a long time. So I was in a conversation once with a female who was plus size. I'm more of on the petite side. So I was explaining to her like how, as far as my body goes and working out, I want to get rid of my back fat. And her response to me was basically to get over myself because my body was fine. And in my head, I'm thinking, how can you tell me that my body is fine? Because are you comparing it to yours? are you going based off what you solely can see, like based off what you're looking at? Because like, if I want to get rid of my back fat, then that's just what I want to
That's your
do.
personal goal, yeah.
Right. That's the personal goal in regards to what I want to do. For her, it may be losing weight. I don't necessarily need to lose any weight. But I definitely did feel some type of way with being told that, I was fine. But I'm pretty sure she didn't try to, the way that it came off, it seemed really rude, but I'm pretty sure she probably didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
And in some sense too, I feel I have felt shamed in regards to being unsupported by my diet or what I choose to eat. At one point, I chose to eat for my blood type, which meant that
I remember
yeah.
you said that. Yes.
Yeah, so I was eating for my blood type. Me and my mom were doing it together, and they have different types of meal plans, things that you can and cannot eat, like
Right.
in regards to what your blood type is. So on the top of that list, like chicken was a straight no, and like turkey was like in the middle, and beef was at the top.
The top of like you can't eat beef or you can't
Like
eat
I
beef.
can. So like beef I can, turkey was like in the middle, but chicken was like, no, absolutely not. It's not good for your blood type. So I completely took chicken out of my diet. And every time I told somebody that I wasn't eating chicken, they looked at me sideways like, what you mean you're not eating chicken? You can't eat chicken? Like, opposed to like looking at me sideways and like try to understand why I'm not eating it, opposed to telling me that I'm crazy because I'm choosing not to eat chicken. Like, everybody doesn't have to eat chicken. What if I solely chose to be vegetarian? I wouldn't be eating any meat at all.
Right.
Because sometimes I feel like I'm being made fun of because I'm choosing to be healthier. Because when I did stop eating that chicken, I was following the meal plan for my blood type. Who slimmed down? I
You
did.
did.
Exactly. And people was looking like, oh my gosh, you look so good. What did you do? I stopped eating chicken.
Yeah. I think that diet thing is important. I definitely resonate with you because I had that same experience. I'm just like, while you're talking, I'm thinking about coworkers that I had who were older, but nonetheless did shame me, but they did it in a mocking way. Like they would order lunch a lot of times in a week, and they'd be like, "Oh, Miss Love, you want to order something?" And then somebody else would be like, "No, she eating grass today." Because I would like have salads or quote unquote healthy foods opposed to eating the pork, eating the chicken, eating things like that. Like I would kiki with them sometimes, but then most of the time it made me feel uncomfortable. Like, why do you have to tease me because I want to eat this way? Like, I definitely see what you're saying with that. It's annoying.
Right. Plus, everybody diet's different too. Like, you have to find what works for you. Like, okay, maybe me being
Yes.
vegetarian works for me, or maybe me being vegan works best for me. Maybe me cutting out this specific kind of meat, like pork, that works for me. Or some people like to be pescatarian, so they only eat, seafood. It just depends on what you like and what works for your body, which is how I understand that I'm able to juggle between, okay, for a few days I'm gonna be vegetarian, for another few days I'm gonna, eat vegan meals. Okay, today I'm gonna cheat and I'm about to eat me a big ass beef burger because I can do that. That's my option.
With the
Plus, because
oil
I
dripping.
had right, I always got to go back to that burger
Yes,
because I
you
love
always mention your burger.
because I love a good juicy burger. Whether it's vegan or beef, but it's my option. Plus, I also know with me choosing whatever my cheat meal is going to be, it's not going to break the cycle of how I chose to diet because I did it that one time. That's another thing that people fail to understand in regards to like dieting and working out and getting your body used to what you're doing. Just because I had this one meal doesn't mean, oh damn, now I'm gonna gain 20 pounds. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever been body shamed?
Yeah, I have two things. So just in general, I guess it goes along with what you were saying about telling people about what your diet is.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically, like what I get is what bothers me. Like sometimes people want to know what it is that I'm talking about or why it is that I'm dieting. Sorry, not why I'm dieting, what I'm eating to diet or what I'm doing to work out and things like that. But then when I say something about it initially, in most cases, I get the blank stares and I get the like people looking up and down, like, or some people will be like, lose weight where? And then sometimes I go along with it and I like do like this, like,
Pinch
hug
your
my,
stomach.
yeah, pinch my stomach or shake my arm. I'd be like, yeah, I want to lose my gut. I want to tone this up. And they'd be like, and it goes along with what you just said, which is just because that person was bigger than you, they like look at you like, yeah, girl, whatever kind of thing. And just because you're bigger and I'm smaller doesn't mean that I can't too have a goal for myself. I know what this jiggle feels like on me and it feels uncomfortable. I want to lose it. Like, let my goal be my goal. So it's just, it gets to a point where it is annoying. And like I said, I mean, like you said, I don't think people are doing it purposely to make me feel uncomfortable. They probably are kind of doing it to make me feel good. Like, girl, you ain't gotta lose nothing or whatever. But I guess the end of it that comes with it is you're really doing something that I don't want to hear, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But aside from the weight thing, is I have booby do.
What is booby do?
So I'm sure you all heard of Friday, and when one of the characters said, "Girl, you got booty do. Your guts stick out more than your booty do." So I have booby do, meaning like I have large breasts. And when I was younger, my breasts were way larger. My breast started growing in 6th grade, and it was just like a race, like a sprint, like they just wouldn't slow down the same. My mom would buy me bras and bras and bras, and my breasts were just growing so fast to the point where I like to describe it as, this is gonna sound funny, but it's my truth. I felt like I looked like a toothpick with an olive on it, stood up like that. That's how I felt like I looked, like so small with these big plump watermelons in the front of my body. And I remember I was teased about it. I remember one time standing in the hallway in 9th grade, and this boy told me that I looked like a leaning tower of Pisa, because I'm bigger in the front and small in the back. And then I remember
Mm-hmm.
when I came to college freshman year, and we were on a step team. My breasts were so big that I looked bigger than what I did. So like right now, I could wear a size small shirt. Then I was wearing mediums and large or whatever. And then I remember like running was a struggle. I think we had to do like a stunt or something, and they were like, "Oh, Yaya's bigger; she could lift Cheyenne." I was like, "No, I can't. Like I'm small. Like I can't lift them." And they were
Yeah.
like, "Whatever, whatever." And then I came back sophomore year, first semester, and I think the only people that knew that I was going to have the surgery were you, Gary, and Priscilla. Nobody else knew because it wasn't their business. But when I came back, people were like, "Oh my God, Yaski, somebody was working out this summer." Da, 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 da. And I was like, "Actually, I wasn't." And then one of the friends, I was like, "I actually had breast surgery," and then he gave me a big hug. He was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like all the times that I teased you, you were telling the truth. I really didn't know. I thought you were just making up excuses." And I was like, "No, like I cry at night because it's so painful having to walk around carrying these breasts." Like I remember one time, my like I still have the dents in my shoulder. I remember my breast was bleeding because of all the pressure on it. Like it was just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So people, and then some people. I remember in middle school, one girl was like, "Well, if you ever have a breast reduction, just give me the fat because I'll put that in my butt." But like people say those things, like trying to like up you up, like make you feel better, or say, "Oh, I wish I had breasts like that," and I'd be like, "Do you really?"
Yeah.
Like it's painful, it's a struggle. So I don't know whether it's quote unquote what they think is positive and the negative that came with it is it was hurtful to hear those things, and I do take it as a body shaming thing.
So I've never had to go through any surgical process for anything. So I can't even imagine what you may have been going through during that.
Hmm.
Um, what advice can you give someone that may be interested in going through the same reduction process?
I would just say do it for yourself. If it's something that you feel like will bring you alleviation or peace, some ease, just do it. Um, for me, I did wonder what other people might think, or it's gonna be noticeable. So what will people say? But I went through so much pain physically, and it messed with me mentally as well. So just if you have the means to do it, I was blessed to have the insurance that paid for the process. Then go ahead and do what you got to do for yourself. That's what I would say. Eating disorders may be more prevalent than you realize. The latest statistics indicate that more than 30 million people in the United States will suffer from an eating disorder. 10 million of those individuals are men. This is information from the Eating Recovery Center, www.eatingrecoverycenter.com.
Have you shamed anyone, man or woman, because of their body shape?
I'm guilty for having shamed people. And so I have never like looked at somebody or purposely teased them, but in recent days, not recent, but like, adult years, I'll come across people on Instagram and they'll show like their transformation. And then I remember I will send them to you or other people who I like use as my accountability partner and literally quote, "Girl, if she could do it, we can too." For example, Monique Parker. I remember looking at her journey and saying, "Wow, like she really slimmed down. Like if she did it, what's my excuse? I should be able to do it too. I'm smaller than her." Then I I look back at that and I'm like, yo, like it's not easy to work out. It doesn't matter what your size is or anything like that. It's all mental, like you got to put yourself in the game mentally to be able to do that, to transform your body. And just because I'm at a lighter weight or a smaller frame doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easier for me to do it or that it was rougher for them to do it. Like, I just feel bad that I even was in a space where I did say, if she can do it, then I can do it too. So that's what I would consider me shaming somebody.
I'm not sure if this would be considered shaming or not, but I will watch shows like My 600-Pound Life, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, like, how did they even get so big? It's almost as if like I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, girl, don't ever let me get that big. Even though partially it's my responsibility, but just to sit there and talk down about somebody else's situation, like, damn, I probably shouldn't say that. That's wrong. And checking myself. Because that's also a mental thing too, in regards to how people cope. Some people cope through eating. I watched one show where like a lady was like pretty much like bedridden. She couldn't even get out of bed to do most things. Like she had her daughter bring her like a hot plate to cook herself dinner in her bed. I started to understand that it was more of a mental thing more than a physical thing, and then understanding the process of what they were going through for them to lose this weight and get these surgeries and put their life back on a healthy track so that they are able to live a longer life. And then understanding how important it is for them to have support from their family and friends and having the mental strength in order to get through it. Because I'm like, they're already on TV, so they know they're going to get some type of scrutiny from people looking at them and talking about them. But also in other ways, I'm like, I commend them for even taking the steps to be on a healthier journey.
So what is it specifically that you said about the person that made you feel like you were shaming them? I know you said, girl, don't let me get that big. Was that it?
Me not understanding, like, well, damn, like, how did they get so big in the first place? But then also like watching and listening to their stories to get a full transparency of their situation. Because there was another show that I watched where there was a woman who struggled with weight all her life. And like even from as a child, and she couldn't even eat at the table because her father considered her disgusting. So that messed her up her entire life. And she just continued to eat as a coping mechanism. And because her father had died, she never properly got to heal from that. So she had to work on that on her own.
Yeah, I have been in a space where I watched My 600-Pound Life or whatever the pound was. And I was sitting with one of my homegirls. And I don't know if she said it, but one of us did say the same quote that you said, which is like, oh my God, don't let me get that big. Or if it was something like, like if I do get to a point where I'm gaining weight like that, say something to me, like make sure you check in with me because like you said, you never know what somebody's going through, and people might use that as a form. But I think that was one of the points for the show too, just to bring some kind of awareness to it. um
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the show is still running, but before you judge me, get to know me, ask me about my story. So I too commend them for coming, nationwide and putting their story out there. But it definitely opens eyes, because if it wasn't for that show, I wouldn't have known what
Right.
their reasons are, or what some people were going through. Have you envied someone else's body and later learned that they too struggle with their body image?
Actually, I haven't, now that I'm thinking about it. But I definitely have looked at somebody else's body for inspiration for my own body goals. Like to the point where I had found a random picture on the internet for I feel like, all right, my body gonna look like this, and I saved it as the background on my
Girl, I
phone.
did that
So
too.
I don't know who this person was. They wasn't a celebrity. Mind you, the picture didn't even have a face in it. It was literally like from the breast down to the knees.
Oh my gosh.
And I saved that part. So I'm like, all right, my body gonna look like this. But then I had to later understand, like, first of all, you don't know what they did to get that body. That could be a surgical body. That's the one thing. And then the
Or
second
edit
thing
it.
is, right. Second thing is my body isn't going to conform to that. Like I have to be my own body goals. So when I look in the mirror, I'm like, damn girl, okay. I see what you've been doing. Which is why I've been enjoying the journey that I've been on for the past couple months in regards to taking pictures of my progress photos. Because just looking at myself, I'm like, I have not made any progress. But taking the pictures and seeing like progressively the smallest things could change, from
Mm-hmm.
arms to thighs to your gut going down. It might not feel like it's gone down, but if you
It don't.
check your results like after a month, you're like, oh, okay, I did make some progress. I put in that work. I'm proud
Mm-hmm.
of me. So I think being able to do that and not necessarily paying attention to the scale, because it'll fool you when you start gaining muscle. It definitely makes a big difference. So no, I've never envied, but I've definitely stared at somebody else's and thought it could be mine. What about you?
Yeah, so I remember when I was in grad school. I don't know if it was while we were in grad school or when this conversation came up, but it was definitely with one of my friends from grad school. And just one day I was randomly talking about wanting to work out, needing to change my diet, all these things, because like I said earlier, I want so badly, like in my mind, to lose my gut and to tone my body up so I can have this slim, thick body. Like that was always the goal that I saw for my body. And then when she interjected into the conversation, she shared that she needed to change her diet. Mind you, I'm 5'3", average. I say average body, but some people say I'm small. She's smaller than me. Cute girl, nice size, little butt, everything. Like in my head, she's like the perfect size. But then she shared that she actually had to do the opposite of what I needed to do, but she needed to gain weight. And she was saying that she was struggling with gaining weight. I think she was starting to like use Ensures and trying to work with a nutritionist so that she could figure out what she could do to fix that, because she wasn't anorexic, but she was nearing anorexia. And
Oh
at
wow.
that point, it was like an eye opener for me, because like I just look at people at that point. This is some years back, but I looked at people and I said like, "Wow, you look amazing. Like you are a body goal. I wish I wish I could eat as much junk food as you can, or snacks and burgers and all this stuff as you can, and be still small. Like meanwhile I'm eating, and you see it in my gut 2 hours later, my gut pop over my jeans." Like so just that, like you never know what somebody's going through, and that was a person that I envied body wise.
Right. I think
um
something that people don't think about either is metabolism. Like everybody's metabolism speed is different. So
right.
while me and you, we both eating the same thing, but my body is eating up that fat real quick. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
like it's super hard for me to see any change as far as like gaining weight when my metabolism is so fast. And somebody with a slower metabolism, they kind of like, dang, I'm only can eat half of this to make sure
Right.
that I'm not gaining too much.
I remember for the longest 2 years ago, Angela Simmons was my screensaver. To me, she was so much body goals that I took her picture to a trainer, and I was like, I want to be slim thick, and he was like, what does that look like? And I just showed him my background, like, here's Angela, and he was like, oh well, you're not too far from that, you just got to do weightlifting. But now, like, seeing her, go back and forth fluctuating, and not having the easiest time on social media is like, okay, so it doesn't come easy. Another one, to me, Scotty Beam has an amazing body shape. She is what I would say great slim thick. Even our friend Courtney, perfect slim thick example, like small
Yeah.
body, plump butt, she looks good. But with Scotty Beam, there was on one of her podcasts, she said something about sometimes she looks at herself and she doesn't feel beautiful. And she just looks at her image, and that's something that she's working on. And whether she meant like working on it mentally or physically, it's still something that, you're combating when you look at yourself in a mirror and everybody else is like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, you look good. And you don't see that same thing reflecting back at you when you stand in front of the mirror.
Right.
Just a few weeks ago, she put on Instagram, so wait, dot, dot, dot. I'm now allowed to call myself full figured. And when I first saw that tweet, I was like, huh? Because when I think full figured, I think like a big, voluptuous woman.
Like plus size.
Yeah, like plus size, voluptuous woman, like a plus size model. But with her, I just she's, and not saying that a voluptuous woman isn't a body goal, because she may be for people, but like she's the perfect example in my eyes of somebody who has hips and curves and looks really great. So I just had to like look up what a full size woman means, and it says a full figured woman is one that wears a size 12 or above. Her exact figure is usually voluptuous with an overall rounded frame. She has thick hips, a rounded back size, which is a butt, large breasts, and a non-narrow waistline. I kind of feel like after reading that definition, it's like to each its own, but you have to wear a size 12 or greater. Because like even with me saying when she looks in the mirror, she doesn't feel beautiful, like
Yeah.
I would think that she's envied by so many people because she's so beautiful. So I don't know.
Yeah, and she probably is. And those people probably don't even know what she's actually struggling with.
Same thing probably is true with us too. Like people may look at you, like I looked at you. Remember that time you sent me your picture of your transformation? I was like, oh, I wish I could, slim down. You'd be like, girl, you look good too. Like when I sent you the picture, and it's
Yeah.
just like I don't see the same thing that you see. Like I see this flat. It's like it's a muffin spilling over my pants. Like you don't see this? You're like, no, you look
Right.
good,
It's like
girl.
people look at me talking about waist where? I'd be like, right
Yes.
here. What back fat? The piece
You
I'm
see this
holding right here.
roll? Yeah.
Oh
Definitely. Have you
God.
ever caught yourself like using your own self as a body goal or like a memory for yourself? Like for example, was that last year? I think that was last year when I was on my fitness journey and everything, and that's when I was really tracking myself with pictures and not letting myself delete the old pictures or videos. And you know how Instagram and Facebook are with their little memories. It showed me one of my IG story memories where I took a video for my close friends and showed my waistline. I was like, yo, like that was me, and I wasn't sucking nothing in. My beads were actually dropping. Like,
I remember that.
bruh, bruh, like, how can I get back to that? Like, I was obviously on track. So it's been a while since I've used anybody else as my body goal or did that whole thing of like, if she could do it, I can. But have you?
I'm doing it currently. Like I just started doing it to see like what I've been working on and how I've changed and how I've grown because I feel good physically. So I'm like, I want to make sure I want to see how I look good physically in my own eyes. and it's a great way to hold myself accountable. I usually don't, but I've also started taking videos of myself working out, like checking my form to also see like how I improve, especially with my squats, because I got a bad knee, Lord Jesus. So I want to see like how I progress in regards to my push-ups and like taking a deeper squat, and progressing throughout my workout. So I can go back and be like, this is where I started. Here I am now doing a burpee 10 all the way through. Because Lord knows, I hate a burpee. But for
I
me to
hate them
look back and
too.
be like, oh, I can only do 2 in a row. And then I'm like, oh, now I can do 10 in a row before I get tired. So it's just kind of like watching my progression and being proud of myself, and knowing that I'm truly living the healthier lifestyle that I've been
Bless your
seeking
heart.
out.
Bless your heart,
Thank,
honey. Because
thank you.
those burpees are woo,
I hate
child.
burpees. Lord,
And you're not giving up, so that's the great part. You go, girl.
absolutely not. Thank you.
Body dysmorphia is when a person can't stop thinking about one or more perceived defects or flaws in his or her own appearance. A flaw that appears minor or can't be seen by others. This person may feel so embarrassed, ashamed, and anxious that he or she may avoid many social situations. He, she, or they think of their real or perceived flaws for hours a day. 1 out of 50 people suffer from BDD, which means that 5 to 10 million people in America suffer from this. These stats were gathered from the International OCD Foundation.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
All right, Moni. So we are still on our hot topic of does size matter? What's our scenario for today?
So I had this roommate, and we would go out partying together. So we would wear crop tops and anything skimpy. Every time she saw me, she would always comment every single night how skinny I was, and that I only look good because I'm skinny, and how fat she was. And every night I would tell her that she isn't and that she's beautiful. This would happen about every weekend. I usually do at home weightless exercises every day, and I eat semi decent. And I always offered to cook her dinner and that we could work out together. But she always made fun of what I ate and my workouts. She also wouldn't eat till like 3 p.m. and it would be a venti frap from Starbucks. I'm all about supporting girls and women, and that every girl and woman is beautiful in their own way. But I can't stand women who put down other women just to make themselves feel better. We're supposed to be picking each other up, not tearing one another down. You know what I mean? Both fat shaming and skinny shaming is unacceptable.
I agree, girl. Both are unacceptable.
It's almost similar to what we're already talking about, like looking at somebody and comparing your body to theirs, but not understanding that you have different goals and your bodies are different. So you have to do what works for
For
you.
you, yeah. It's making me think about when the positives come from you talking to people about working out and your body goals and things like that. And then a lot of it is on Instagram now. So even people seeing you working out and checking in with them or whatever, and then they ask you, "Hey, girl, I love what you're doing. Can I be your accountability partner?" And then you say, "Yeah, girl," because it's a benefit for you too. But when you let them know, okay, like she said, I even offered to cook dinner with her, say we can work out together. You like for me personally, I get excited about the workout, so I may send you the workout that I did, and then it's just like, yeah, girl, but I'm about to eat this pasta for breakfast, or
Right.
I'm drinking this soda and I'm having beer and doing this. Oh, that I could do one push up. I ain't doing the other ones. And then they keep badgering you about like wanting to work out and how good you look, but then they don't want to put the work in to do it.
It's like they gonna pray to the weight loss gods, go to sleep and wake up and have a slim waist. Like it's not gonna work like that. Like you have to make sure that your diet is right and that you're doing the proper workouts at least 3 times a week. Like
Yeah.
especially if you want to meet some type of goal by a certain amount of time. If you're not putting in the work, you get in what you put out. So if you're not putting nothing in, you're gonna look exactly the same. You're gonna feel exactly the same. So you have to make sure you're treating your body well.
To me, it's like she's whimpering, like, "Oh, girl, you look good. You get to wear a crop top and anything skimpy that you want to wear, but I gotta wear this big shirt or whatever, I can't look as good as you. You crying to me and I'm trying to help you, but then you don't want my help and you eating unhealthy. So like, please just stop it. Like, it becomes
Right.
annoying. So I feel like this message, like, girl, we understand where you coming from.
All right, let's get into the next one. I'm skinny. And growing up, I was really confident. But as I get older, everyone starts comparing me to everything, telling me I need to get some meat on my bones, that I look like a skeleton, I look unhealthy, I look like I'm anorexic, I'm too skinny for any guy to ever love me. They do the wrist thing to see if their fingers can touch and laugh when they do. I laugh with them, but when I get home, I look at myself and feel more insecure day by day. I eat so much to try and gain something, but I just can't, and I cry because I know I'm never going to look the way society wants me to. I may be skinny, but if you're making fun of my weight, that's still body shaming. That's still wrong.
Oh, child. I started to have a flashback while you were saying that. Do people know what they're doing when they're doing these things or saying these things? Like, just because it's not right out saying, oh, you're fat, or oh, you're super skinny, and I'm trying to tease you and purposely hurt your feelings. Are people aware of what they're doing?
I don't think some people are. Like, they joke to make light of some things. And like she said, like, you will go along, you will laugh with it. But then later when you go home, you're like, damn, you feel bad about yourself. And I feel like if it's not a space where you feel comfortable joking around, you have to say something, or people will never know that you feel uncomfortable. And then some people actually shy away from being confident enough to say, hey, this hurt my feelings. Please don't say this about me. I don't like when you say X, Y, Z. Because, you know, there's a chance that you could say this to people and people will take it up as if you tripping. Like, oh my gosh, you being dramatic. You know, it was just a joke. It was a joke to you. It's not a joke to me. So if you don't speak up and say something, people will never know how you feel.
Yeah, and I'm wondering the age of this person who wrote this. Not that it matters of like was teasing and everything, but their confidence or their comfortability with stepping up and saying what you just said. The flashback was when I was in middle school. I used to get teased because people did do this to me too, like put their fingers around my waist. See, I can do it too. My wrist is really thin. I could do the same thing. Well, kinda with my ankle. I used to get teased and say I had chicken leg, and I literally did. Like, I don't know if I cried like literal tears, but I used to like stare at myself in the mirror and like why are my legs and arms so skinny? Or I didn't feel comfortable with wearing capris or shorts because it would highlight those parts of my body that people tease. But if it wasn't for people saying those things about me, I wouldn't have noticed that. Like, because that would be my norm. I would have, felt better about it. So I just, just seeing this letter and then the other one before is like, it doesn't matter what your size is, what your weight is. Different people of different weights and sizes go through body shaming.
Someone's always going to say something. Like, doesn't matter who or what. Like, someone's always going to have an opinion about something that you decide to do. And, you just have to negate it. And love yourself for who you are, understanding the goals that you want to meet for yourself. 0.9% of American women suffer from anorexia in their lifetime. 1 in 5 anorexia deaths is by suicide. 50 to 80% of the risk of anorexia and bulimia is genetic. 33 to 50% of anorexia patients have a comorbid mood disorder such as depression. Mood disorders are more common in the binge-purge subtype than in the restrictive subtype. About half of anorexia patients have comorbid anxiety disorders, including obsessive compulsive disorder and social phobia. This information was provided from ANAD, Your Future is Worth Fighting For, ANAD.org. All righty, let's go ahead and jump into these announcements, honey.
Announcements. Okay, so we have our first announcement, July question of the month. Our question of the month is asking, what are your top 3 things on your bucket list? If you answer this question on our website under Truth Carpet, you will be entered to win a bookmark as well as a LoveLoudd pen.
Make sure y'all don't miss out on that. I handmade these bookmarks, y'all. They are special. Okay. So if you would like one, please sign up on our website as a member and answer the question of the month.
Also, make sure you check out our YouTube channel where we have our answers or our responses to our questions of the month, which will be some interesting things to find out. So make sure you check out our YouTube channel.
And thank you to everyone for listening to the very first episode of Truth Carpet. Don't miss the shuttle. If you haven't had a chance to listen to it, after you finish this one up, please go back and take a listen. We are super excited to be having a podcast, and we would love to know what y'all think.
Don't miss the shuttle. Last but not least, make sure you follow us on IG. Our Instagram name is at LoveLoudd LLC. And my personal one is Love Secret. That's LOV3 S3 CRET.
Say it one more time just in case they didn't get it.
That's LOV, the number 3, S, the number 3, CRET.
And then my personal Instagram is _ I am loud _. Again, that is _ IAMLOUDD _. Don't forget, if you don't use 2 Ds, it's not us. So you will not be able to find us at all.
That's right. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode, and we can't wait to see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks for the next one. Right. Have you tune in. Right. From our mouths to your ears. Y'all know what I meant.
Bye. Bye.